Now that the UK has given the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine emergency youth authorization, becoming the first nation in the world to do so, the pressure is on the Food and Drugs Administration in the United States to follow suit. The FDA meets on December 10th to discuss the preparation, before getting together a week later to debate the Moderna vaccine. The markets didn't really move too much in the aftermath of the UK Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency approval. That could be different if when the FDA makes their announcement, as it might be a sign that more and more countries will follow in the coming months. Once the FDA has met, the attention will turn to the vaccine rollout itself, and any comment from the impending Biden administration, or depending on how quick the turnaround is, the incumbent and pretty checked out Trump administration on both the timeline and who will get the jab first. If that meeting is the centrepiece of the second half of the week, then there isn't much to grapple with in the run up. The monthly consumer credit number is on Monday, followed by the revised non farm productivity number on Tuesday, and the JOLTS job opening reading on Wednesday. On Thursday, things are slightly more interesting. Inflation is set to creep up from 0.0% to 0.1% month on month, while the weekly jobless claims figure is expected at 723,000. Finally, on Friday, there's the latest PPI and consumer sentiment numbers, forecast to fall 0.1% and 76.1 respectively. Of course, in the absence of other news, there is always COVID-19 to fill the void. The states opened December with its highest daily death total since April and could begin to feel the effects of Thanksgiving on daily case numbers in the coming weeks. That'll be an indication of the kind of fallout the states can perhaps expect in the aftermath of Christmas as well. You know, these two massive holidays, massive traveling holidays as well, coming right on top of each other just when the country really could do with a proper sort of European style nationwide lockdown to try and get cases under control. The Biden administration is coming in with a real hot mess in its hands in January. As for the Dow Jones itself, following a woeful headline non-farm reading last Friday, which at 245,000 was not only the worst figure for 7 months, but less than half of the 500k that analysts had been expecting, the index still closed at an all-time high of 30,218. That's because while millions of jobs are still lost since the pandemic began, meaning that the non-farm number isn't up to scratch in that regard, from a market perspective, it's kind of perfect, given the Biden administration further calls to try and go big with any stimulus agreement in January. Of course, that's how big they can go is going to be dependent on the January runoff Senate race in Georgia, which will sort of potentially tip the balance in favour of Republicans or Democrats, and therefore tip the balance in terms of a fine stimulus agreement and a really substantial one that the Democrats are after. It will be a good sign for the Dow Jones if it can keep above its 30,000 milestone this week, even if it isn't regularly beating its all-time peak. How the week's vaccine news pans out will likely be the determining factor in where the Dow ends up come Friday night and even potentially by the end of the year.